世界的出路在哪里？
The global economic playing field is being leveled.
It is extremely painful.
That voters liked the slogan Make America Great Again because they felt that it wasn't great anymore.
That I've always regarded the opportunities that you have in life as being virtually unlimited.
一财 Global 评论员对话全球顶级战略家、经济学家，寻找下一个世界推动者。
肯尼迪总统曾经说过，为了确保自由的存在和自由的胜利，我们愿意付出任何代价，承受任何负担，应付任何艰辛，支持任何朋友，反抗任何敌人。而现在，美国著名专栏作家 Thomas Friedman 认为，在特朗普任总统的美国，为了自由的胜利是不会付出任何代价，不承受任何负担，不支持任何朋友，不反抗任何敌人，除非给美国付钱。美国发生了什么变化？世界又在如何变局？影响世界变局的力量在怎样改变着我们？我来到华盛顿，拜访《纽约时报》专栏作家 Thomas Friedman， 试图倾听他的答案。Susan.
Susan. Are you based here?
Yeah, I'm based in New York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah, I've been in the States for 16 years.
Oh, okay.
作为出生在美国明尼苏达州的犹太人，弗莱德曼读完研究生后就到伦敦从事新闻工作。自1979年开始，在布鲁特报道中东的战争、阿拉伯国家和以色列的关系。1981年加入《纽约时报》，成为战地记者，在中东的国际报道为他赢得了3个普利策奖中的第1个。后来，弗莱德曼回到美国，成为白宫记者，并开始评论美国经济和外交政策，成为声名日隆的专栏作家。他通希伯来语和阿拉伯语，他的专栏在美国和阿拉伯世界有着巨大的影响力，专注世界是平的，在全球风行。Mr. Friedman, so nice to have the opportunity to do the interview
My
with
pleasure.
you. Yeah, I just read your recent column. You said that, quote, that for now, American, we shall pay no price, bear no burden, meet no hardship, support no friend, oppose no foe to assure the success of liberty, unless we are paid in advance. It seems not the American we know.
No, it's not. I think Donald Trump is an outlier. He's an outlier from any of the presidents we've had in recent years, and certainly any of the presidents we've had in the Cold War.
Yes.
And most of all, from President Kennedy, whose words I was using, I just reversed.
Yeah, I know that.
That we'll pay any price, to fight any foe, defend any friend in the pursuit of liberty.
Many people are angry or endangered, by the frightened world, so they choose the angry man as their president.
There's no question, the world has sped up for a lot of people.
Do you think it has anything to do with the flattening of the world?
No, I think it has much more to do with Donald Trump and who he is. And obviously the fact that he was elected by a certain group of people who felt harmed by globalization, by a more open world. America is really not divided anymore between Democrats and Republicans. It's divided between people who want to be open to the world and people who want to be closed to the world.
Yes.
So we really have two parties, the open party, the closed party.
As a journalist, you work in London, Middle East, and you report from China, from India. So how does this experience help you observe the force that flatten the world?
Well, I learn by talking to people and talking to a lot of people, and then trying to connect the dots.
Yes.
We have a saying in English: you shouldn't think in the box.
Yes.
You should think out of the box. I don't agree. I think you should think without a box. Okay?
Without box.
Without a box at all. That you need to really synthesize all the forces out there, the globalization, the technology, the climate, population. That's what I like to do. And I feel that if I do enough reporting on the ground up, I can start to see patterns. And when I start to see patterns, I give them a name. And once I've given them a name, I write a book about them. So that's how I work.
真正为弗莱德曼带来世界声誉的是他对全球化的关注。1999年出版的《零质汽车和橄榄树》是第一本关于全球化的著作。在2004年，弗莱德曼游历印度的科技重镇班格贾尔和中国的大连，洞察了全球化的趋势和其背后巨大的力量。回到美国，写就了《世界是平的》。You realize the world is flat on the trip to India, right?
Yes. It was really it was really in going to India after
in
9/11.
2004.
Yeah, in 2004 after 9/11. And, 9/11 really forced me to put down the globalization story and really look at this whole clash of civilizations.
Yeah.
And so I really happened to put down the globalization story at a very important time when it really started to accelerate.
Yes.
And what had happened was we had the dot-com boom and the dot-com bubble and then the dot-com bust in 1999.
Yes.
And busts are usually bad for investors,
Yes.
but they can be very good for everybody else.
互联网泡沫的扩大使大量投资用于光纤领域，世界因互联网繁荣和互联网泡沫而连接。之后，当泡沫破裂，所有的线路都已经铺好，能够被廉价的购买和使用，这才是世界扁平化真正的起点。
Suddenly, American companies in the year 2000, you remember we had this problem called Y2K, which is that computers were only set up to go to 1999.
Yes,
and we were worried if they went to 2000 that they would all stop.
Yes.
And every system based on them would stop. Water systems, grids. So everyone frantically was trying to adjust their computers for Y2K, for the year 2000. And that required tens of thousands of engineers. Well, that happened to coincide with the dot-com bust.
Yes.
And suddenly all these American companies woke up and said, where can I get 150,000 engineers cheap? They said, India. But they're in India. No, all that fiber optic cable made it like they were in your back room.
Yes.
And that was really what I observed. And then I projected out of that. And that's where the idea of the world is flat came from.
You compare your trip to India and to Columbus' trip to discover America.
Yes. Well, I made the point that, Columbus, set out to discover India, actually. He was looking for East India.
Yes.
And he ended up discovering America. And I ended up trying to discover America and found myself in India.
I'm Tom Friedman, and I've come to Bangalore, India to find out how our new world economy is affecting the old world societies. What happens when the demands of globalization run up against the deeply held traditions of an age-old culture like India's?
New York Times foreign affairs columnist.
Holy mackerel, that's globalization.
Three-time winner of the Pulitzer Prize.
You're Tom Friedman.
Thomas L. Friedman travels to India.
How do you think your generation will change India?
To explore the other side of outsourcing.
But did you anything happen in India and individually you meet in India make you found this?
Yeah, the real idea of the world is flat came out of a conversation with Nandan Nilekani, who was then the CEO of Infosys, which is the premier Indian technology company. And he said to me in an interview, Tom, the global economic playing field is being leveled, and you Americans are not ready.
Oh.
And I wrote that down on my little laptop. The global economic playing field is being leveled. Oh my God, India's premier engineer entrepreneur just told me the world is flat. I got back to my hotel, the Leela Palace in Bangalore.
Yeah.
I ran up to my room. I called my wife in Bethesda and I said, honey, I'm going to write a book called The World is Flat.
世界是平的这部描写21世纪的简史被翻译成中文、法语、俄语、阿拉伯语等多种语言，在全球风行。What exactly do you mean by saying the world is flat?
What I meant was that because of these technologies that are enabling us to compete, connect, and collaborate for less money with more people over more places, that we'd created a platform where more people from more places, from China and from America, from rural America and rural China, from northern India and southern India, from Africa to Russia, that more people could suddenly access this platform to compete, connect, and collaborate in more ways, on more days, with more people, for less money than ever before. That's what I meant.
As a political journalist, you are so keen to the technology that shaped the world. How? It's a little bit surprised.
Well, there's a concept in strategic theory. It's called capabilities create intentions. So if I'm a country and I suddenly have a lot of tanks, a a lot of planes and a lot of warships, I might want to go to war more. Okay, that strategic theory, it's a concept. Capabilities create intentions. I think that's also true in economics. So if I have the capability that if I have a handheld computer called a smartphone,
yes,
that can call all over the world for almost no price and connect me to the internet for almost no price, and enable me therefore to find collaborators around the world,
yes,
customers around the world, and suppliers around the world. Well, if I have that technology, if I have that capability, it's going to create a lot of intentions.
yes.
It's going to create the intention, therefore, to globalize and partner with people all over the world. So people accuse me of being a technological determinist. I am guilty, Your Honor.
2005年，汤姆斯· 弗里德曼宣布世界是平的时候 ，Facebook 还不存在 ，Twitter 只是个音符，云还只存在天空之中，4G 是个停车场，大数据是个嘻哈明星，而所有这一切都发生在2007年。2000年初，光纤和网络将世界变平，而在2007年，另一轮复杂技术价格崩溃的浪潮席卷世界，芯片在加速，软件在加速，网络在加速，存储在加速，感应器也在加速，而所有这一切都融合在一起，被称为云。在 Thomas Friedman 的新书《谢谢你迟到》中，他称之为新兴爆炸。This rapid technology shift really make a lot of people feel profoundly unlocated.
There's no question. You know, what happens is that in both America and China, the Chinese middle class and the American middle class,
yes,
in their own contexts, which are different, but in their own context, both were the beneficiaries of something called the high-wage, middle-skill job.
Yes.
So you can have high wages and middle-skill. All this rapid change is doing is creating high-wage, high-skill job, and low-wage, low-skill job. But it's really shrinking the high-wage, middle-skill job. That's becoming a dinosaur, something out of the past.
That's the job that American white class is losing.
They've been hurt by the changes in the world, and so they are they're reflecting that pain. So our institutions may not have kept up as fast as they should have and as well as they should have to cushion the impacts of a lot of these forces on certain communities.
Yes, so that's why President Trump's words that we build the wall, we put American first, resonant with so many people. Yes.
He's a spokesman for the white working class that has felt ignored for many years.
But actually, you know, when we see the election, you know, the slogan that make America great again, actually a lot of people love the word again the best. So do you think the high wage for the average job will ever come back to America again, as President Trump promised?
Well, it's hard to know. I wouldn't want to make any predictions. I think what is, again, what's feeding the Trump phenomena are many things. It was the acceleration in immigration. Suddenly I go to the grocery store and the woman at the cashier's place is wearing a hat that is not a baseball hat.
Yes.
Or speaking to me in a language that's not English. Then I go to work and my boss just rolled a robot up next to me and he seems to be studying my job. So all of those things happened at the same time. Big changes in culture, big changes in norms, social norms, sexual norms, and big changes in the workplace. And Trump was really a byproduct of all that rapid change hitting a particular cohort, the white working class.
Maybe people are looking for someone who can hammer the change, who can stop the flow.
Yeah, I mean, you want someone to stop the wind, and he promised to stop the wind. Of course he can't, but if you're desperate, you reach out for that. And he connected, to his credit. He found a way to connect to the, people don't listen through their ears, they listen through their
heart.
And so if you connect with them at the heart, they don't actually care about the details.
Yes. In your first book about globalization is Lexus and the Olive Tree, is published in 1999.
Right.
The second book, The World is Flight, is in 2005.
Right.
And this new book, Thank You for Being Late, came out last year.
Right.
How your views about globalization evolved, you know, over the three books? It's from 1999 to 2016.
As the technology changed, it gives people different capabilities, that creates different intentions and different outcomes, and each book really is about how those differences are reshaping the world.
在《谢谢你迟到》中，汤姆斯·弗里德曼认为改变世界的力量在不断加速，这一变化基于摩尔定律。英特尔联合创始人戈登·摩尔在1965年预测，微芯片的微缩速度每24个月翻1倍，而这维持了52年。当你一直在翻倍某样东西，得到的数目就会很大。手机和相机的主力芯片是一个14纳米的英特尔芯片，你无法用肉眼看到。这个芯片每平方毫米有3750万个晶体管。根据摩尔定律，每2-3年晶体管的数量就会翻倍。对人类来说很难理解翻倍的力量，就像那个著名的故事，发明国际象棋的人向国王邀赏，要求在64个格中，第一格放1厘大米，第二格放2厘米，第三格放4厘大米，每格翻倍。到最后，国王发现整个王国的大米都不够用了，而我们就处在棋盘后半段巨大的翻倍变化中，一些不可思议的事情开始快速发生。
So if you think the world is fast now, just wait a couple of years. In a couple of years, that cameraman there won't have a job. We won't need him at all. That camera will just be a robot. It'll come here. We'll make a date. And the cameraman will be out surfing, okay? But we won't need him anymore.
But people are scared about that, about the whole AI thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's reason to be scared.
Because, even like as a journalist, when I see that the manufacturer job was replaced by robots, okay, right. I said this is the tide of the time,
right, That's right, yeah.
But when I see a robot can write a story,
right,
that's have different
that's
feeling
right.
in my heart.
Exactly, yeah, me too. But I'll be retired then, so I don't have to worry.
But still, a lot of people worry
I'm
about
very
it.
worried about
I think
I'm concerned, yeah.
if about 30 or 40% of human being has no job,
yeah.
Our society cannot be sustained.
We have to be very humble about these things. You never know the new things people will invent to do. Human beings are infinitely creative. Look where Uber, 5 years ago, whoever thought you'd be able to stand on the street, page a car, watch the car on your computer arrive to you, take the ride, direct the car, pay the driver, and rate the driver, all on your phone.
Yeah.
So be humble.
But still, it's kind of scary because the AI just defeat the
right.
world #1 Go player.
Yes, I heard he started crying afterwards. Yeah,
yeah.
There's no question. Look, we saw that in 2011 with Jeopardy when Watson beat the 2 all-time Jeopardy champions. Yeah. And imagine when we go from that 14 nanometer chip to that 10 nanometer
we don't
chip.
know.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know. Yeah.
科技的变化在不断加速，改变着我们的生活方式，而世界的格局也在巨大变化中。全球化的加速、科技的加速、环境变化的加速、人口的快速膨胀，正在以前所未有的方式改变着世界的秩序与现状，而一些弱国已经无力承受。
You call the world post-Cold War.
Right.
Why?
Well, we know what the post-Cold War world was. It was a world divided by these 3 superpowers, America, China, and Russia. And now we're in a post-Cold War world where I think the big divide is no longer east-west, north-south, communist, capitalist. I think the big divide is between what I call the world of order and the world of disorder.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always believed China and America are actually together in the world of order. What you're seeing now is tens of thousands of people, millions ultimately, who try to get out of the world of disorder into the world of order.
Yeah.
These are countries that are literally melting down. And parents, because a lot of gang warfare, want to get their kids out.
叙利亚的内战以及中东和北非的其他战乱国家正在产生一个无序的世界。仅在叙利亚就有700多万人因为战乱而流离失所，数以百万计的难民正在涌入欧洲及其周边地区，给欧盟的继续存在造成了巨大的挑战。德国总理默克尔决定接收100万难民，而小小的以色列就已经从苏丹接收了6万名难民。
But do you think it's also the unexpected consequence of the flattening world?
Well, it is in the sense that you can find out about where order is.
Yes.
You can organize transportation easier.
Yeah.
You can communicate easier. So it is and it's a byproduct of the pressure that globalization, technology, and climate change and population all accelerating at once. That's what Thank You for Being Late is about. The pressure of those accelerations is just too much for a lot of weak states.
But do you think Europe can handle that? It's a big challenge for Europe.
It's a big challenge, and it could change the whole character and face of Europe.
Because
but it's a big challenge.
I just read a data that they said in 2016 the most popular boy's name in UK was born is Muhammad.
Yes, yeah. And so
does not surprise you.
No, because you're going to see this movement from south to north. The two mega trends in the world, are that we're going from analog to digital and from south to north.
Okay, but it has a lot of crash, between this.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a real problem, and that's why we need to. I think the most important foreign policy question is how do we improve? 2/3 of Africa lives on small-scale agriculture.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest challenge we face now is how to improve small-scale agriculture so these people can stay in their homes and not want to flock to the world.
Why do you think climate change is also a factor?
Well, climate change is a huge factor because you've got population and climate change together. So climate change basically changes the soils, creates desertification, deforestation, and then...
You saw it firsthand.
I saw it firsthand in Senegal and Niger. It's 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Is this weather normal for this time of year? No future here? Climate change is real. Later will be too late. We need to act now to mitigate climate change. Have they ever heard of this thing called climate change? So that's going on one hand, then population explosion on the other. So you have more people trying to live on less land. That's what's going on all across sub-Saharan Africa in the Sahel region.
So they don't have anything, but they have a phone.
They have a phone, and they can see Europe. They can see the migration recruiters. There are, black market recruiters.
They use
WhatsApp. Connect with them. They use WhatsApp, and they connect with them, and they're on their way to Europe. Yes.
And it makes very easy for jihadists to recruit young migration to become terrorists.
Yeah, because these are desperate young men who have never held a job, never held power, and never held a girl's hand. That's a very bad combination.
Do you think it's also because of the technology, because of the globalization, enable the individuals?
Absolutely. They can plot together, they can raise money more efficiently, they can carry out acts, of using modern systems, not even weapons, in their case airplanes, all because of the acceleration in technology and globalization.
But still, the spread of extreme fundamentalism, it's a big problem. And the social media, the Facebook, the YouTube, every social media, the technology, to help the spread of this fundamentalism.
It's very easy now that's what I talk about in my book, the acceleration of flows.
Yes.
You can now spread ideas farther, faster than ever before, and including fake news.
The truth is, our nation is more divided than ever.
The truth is, alternative facts are just plain delusional.
The media needs to be held accountable.
The truth is, locker room talk is harmless.
The truth is, we need to put the safety of the American...
在个人的影响力越来越强大的全球化时代，一个人传播极端思想和谎言的威力不逊于庞大的新闻机构。《纽约时报》最近做了一则有关捍卫真相的广告。真相在这个全球化的时代已经越来越难以寻找，也越来越重要。
But how to fight that? I just saw that the leader of G7 called Facebook to remove the extreme content.
Yes.
Do you think that's the right direction?
Well, you're sitting here at the New York Times.
I know.
Now, upstairs, you probably noticed that we have a lot of reporters.
Yes.
And we have a lot of editors.
Yes.
So Facebook wants all our readers. They want all our advertisers.
Yes.
But they want none of those editors.
No, they don't.
They're expensive. And I told in my book the story of how Google was running Jennifer Aniston perfume ads on ISIS videos.
I saw that.
Yeah, of course. Of course, they didn't deliberately put them there. The algorithm did it. The computer did it. Facebook is going to have to step up to its responsibilities. And I think, in fairness, they just hired 3,000 editors. So I think they're looking to do that.
What's the biggest misconception of globalization?
Well, the biggest misconception of globalization is people who think it's all good or all bad. If you think it's all good or all bad, you don't get it. It's everything and its opposite. It can be incredibly homogenizing. McDonald's and Pizza Hut everywhere. And it can be incredibly particularizing. If I'm a villager in northern China now and I have a craft, I can go sell it on the internet all over the world. It can be incredibly authoritarian. I can use these technologies to crush people, and it can be incredibly democratizing. I can be super empowered as an individual. So it can be used for opening a society, it can be used for closing a society.